What is going on, everyone? My name is Andy. Welcome back to another FPL video. In this one, it's my team selection for Game Week 11. So I'm going to take you through how the team is shaping up, thoughts around transfers, captaincy plans, all that good stuff. And we'll take a quick look at Game Week 10 as well. So if you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a like, hit that subscribe button if you are new around here. So Game Week 10 was a little bit disappointing. 61 points for me gave me a small red arrow. So I'm now just outside the top 1.1 million, which isn't great. It's not ideal. It's not where I wanted to be right now, but I'm not a huge amount of points off being at a more respectable rank, and I'm not panicking. I think a lot of people want me to panic. A lot of people are looking at my team and panicking for me. I've got to make all these rage transfers. I'm just not in that position because I don't think I've made a huge amount of mistakes on that wildcard that I played in Game Week 9. And I've said this already last week, but had I captained Haaland instead of Salah last week, I would have got a small green arrow. Had I played Andreas Pereira first bench instead of Nico Williams, it would have been a small green arrow. So it's not that I'm not sitting here saying I've not made any mistakes. I just don't think I've made a huge amount of mistakes. And these small things, if I tweak them and start getting them right, and obviously I get a little bit of luck with some of the players I pick, then obviously the green arrows will come. So I don't think there's a need to panic. I mean, I will say there's maybe a little bit of a lesson to be learnt this week in that I put Nico Williams first on the bench. I said on the deadline stream it was more of a hope that he would keep his place in a back five, and he didn't. Aurier started instead. So that is a lesson to be learned. Go for the guy that's got the minutes. But to be honest, I probably would have put Gay first sub anyway instead of Andreas Pereira. So it's just one of those things. We're talking about 5 or 6 points here or there that are dictating a small green or a small red. So I'm not that worried. And obviously, captaincy last week, yes, having Salah in the first place meant I had a choice, or at least I thought I had a choice. But if I'd gone for Haaland, it would have been a green arrow. So these are just small things that kind of just hurting a little bit more, and then they make the team look even worse than it probably is. And one thing I will say about the wild card, and I will come on to all the flags as we talk through the players for next week, I kind of wanted to identify players that had good fixtures in the future so that I wasn't having to make loads of transfers every single week in case issues cropped up. And that has happened. I've got 3 players flagged now. Mitrovic is a doubt. James is a possible doubt. We'll talk about him later on. And Trent Alexander-Arnold is red flag. So I've now got 3 possible things to deal with. But because I set my squad up in a way where the fixtures in the future were good, like for Mo Salah, I'm not really worried about having to transfer him out. I can concentrate my transfers elsewhere, and I'm going to need to by the looks of it. And I've got 2 free transfers going into this week, so I think the wildcard hasn't gone great for me so far, but I look at that team and think, did I make loads of massive mistakes? Not really. And if you look at this week, for example, against Arsenal, they were brilliant, fully deserved the win. Trent 0-pointer, fair enough. But on another day, that's a penalty given to Liverpool for that handball on Gabriel. Suddenly Salah scores. I've got a small green arrow. There's less panic over him. And it's just these fine margins. I know people keep saying things like, yeah, but you should have got rid of Salah 6 weeks ago. I get that. I should have bought all the players in that scored points 6 weeks ago. FPL doesn't work like that. So I can only kind of move forward with the team as it is. And I think I'm okay with it. I don't think I made a huge amount of mistakes. I just need a little bit of luck to kind of turn the tides and start getting those green arrows. So I was a bit frustrated that handball wasn't given. I know people are saying there's a video, it shows it hits his chest first, but I think VAR on another day give that penalty. So a little bit frustrating, but it is what it is. Martinelli was great. Zaha chipped in with assists. I think a lot of owners were worried about him. I told you, he's one of those players that when you own him, he just doesn't seem to score many points, but the fixtures are good, so holding on to him. I think the biggest success, or the biggest thing that made me happy this week, was Solanke getting 2 assists. I gotta be honest, I was in the Patreon slash YouTube member Discord, and I saw that they'd scored, and I saw it wasn't Solanke and it was Billing, and I said I called it. I told you that Ward would lose his clean sheet, Solanke wouldn't score, and it'd be bloody Billing that did it instead. But in the end, it didn't matter because he got the assist for that, got the assist for the second goal. So 8 points was kind of nice. But yeah, overall, kind of saved a little bit by Martinelli and Cancelo. Just a small red arrow. It's not going to take much to turn this around. I'm not panicking just yet, but I would like Haaland to score more points when I captain him. That's 3 times I've captained him. A 6-pointer, a 6-pointer, and a 5-pointer. I've not even had double digits from Haaland yet. So let's see if I get that this week. But yeah, I just wanted to talk through my kind of thoughts because I think a lot of people, when they're at this rank or even lower, they start kind of making changes to how they make decisions, and I just don't think that's needed. Again, yes, Salah hasn't been great. Trent has been awful. Reece James hasn't done anything for me so far, but were they completely awful picks? I'm not so sure they were. So yeah, happy with how things are going-ish. I'd like a green arrow soon though. Let's hope it's this week. But that's Game Week 10. Let's take a look at Game Week 11. So let's take a look at Game Week 11, and there are some issues starting to crop up. I'll talk through the players that are flagged as we go through the team, what their injury status is, how likely I am to sell them this week, which options I'm looking at possibly bringing in as well. I do have 2 free transfers, so I'm in somewhat of a flexible position. Let's get the easy players out of the way first. Danny Ward, I just do not have spare transfers right now to even worry about goalkeepers. Yes, he's rubbish. Yes, Leicester are rubbish. But which goalkeepers aren't right now? Who should I even be looking to move towards? Like Fabianski, okay, but he's like $1 million more. Lots of people have got Nick Pope. I'm sure they're not very happy with him right now. Seems to be conceding the odd goal here or there. Guaita is another one that people looked at. He's been conceding. I've got Gay on the bench anyway. And the only other one that I really looked at on wildcard was Raya. Right, and he's been conceding too. So Danny Ward is rubbish, but so is seemingly every other goalkeeper. So I may look to get rid of him later on, but right now there are just not spare transfers for that move. And Cancelo, Liverpool away, he's not flagged. I think the way Liverpool are playing right now, I'm not really that worried about playing him. There is a good chance they concede. I do think Liverpool will score in that game, but who knows? Maybe he crops up with an attack and return. I'm not massively confident. He's not going to run the show like he did against Southampton, but I think when my options are Gay against Leicester away, and again, I think Leicester will score in that game, and Nico Williams, who might not even start, I've got to play Cancelo. Just quickly on Nico Williams, I don't know if Aurier was that great in that game, and also there is a midweek in game week 12, so if Aurier plays at the weekend, there's nothing to say that Nico Williams won't start in game week 12, which is when I really need him. And a few people pointed out to me on Twitter, which is a really good point, what was I actually expecting from Nico Williams away to Brighton in game week 12 anyway? It was probably going to be at most a 1-pointer, so if he does come off the bench, is that the end of the world? Should I be worried about using a transfer on him? Possibly, but it's going to depend on what happens with the rest of my players. So if James is actually okay, and we'll come on to Mitrovic later on, if he's actually okay, I've only got Trent to deal with this week. I could then roll a transfer to next week and look to upgrade Nico Williams to somebody like Dunk or Webster at Brighton, who have Nottingham Forest at home. That might be a move that I do. But if I continue to have players that get injured, or maybe even suspensions, like James Maddison, for example, is only 1 yellow card away from that, then I think I'll just play Nico Williams in game week 12 and just hope that he gets me 1 point and anything else is a bonus. So I'm not massively worried about him. Let's get on to the 2 players that are flagged. So Trent Alexander-Arnold has to go. He's a lot of money. That's going to free up possible moves in the future. Klopp has said that he's out for at least 2 weeks. I think he said he'd be glad if it's just 2 weeks, right? But because we got those midweek fixtures, that's at least 3, probably 4 game weeks that he's going to miss out. So he has to go. The obvious transfer is just to get Trippier in. I should have put him on my wild card, even if it wasn't at the expense of one of Trent, Cancelo or James. I could have put him on my bench and had him there for times like this. I didn't do that, so I think I should probably just rectify that and get him in. I'm not completely happy about it because he's got Man United away this week and Spurs away in game week 13, and I think Newcastle will concede in both games. The problem with him is, as a non-owner, is when he gets an attack and return, he's very good for bonus, and if he does get those clean sheets, he's always going to be right up there as someone that's going to get 1, 2 or 3 bonus, and he has been super consistent. So I think that's the most obvious move. A lot is going to depend on what else is going on in my team. And I am slightly worried that Trent could drop in price and Trippier could go up before the deadline. So that's another thing in my thinking, that I could save 0.2 million by doing this move soon. I do want to see the Champions League games tonight because, for example, in the Spurs game, if one of Sessegnon or Perisic got injured, well, suddenly the other one then becomes very nailed on, and Spurs have got some pretty good fixtures. I could go for one of them instead. But as things are shaping up, either Reece James is going to be out for long enough where I need to sell him, or if I've got no other issues in my team, I'm going to have a spare transfer next week. So I can always bring in 2 defenders over the next 2 weeks, which is why I'm possibly looking at not going for Trippier this week, getting someone with a better fixture, and then getting Trippier in game week 12. So that is an option as well. The only problem is, as we kind of discussed yesterday, there's not a huge amount of defenders I like, and I could, if I wanted to go for a Spurs one, go for Dyer instead, or possibly even Romero, but I'd probably go for Eric Dyer. I think he's got slightly more goal threat. The fixture this week's okay, but then like Trippier, he plays Man United away in game week 12. So is that ideal? And Newcastle at home is going to be tough. Then it's Bournemouth away, Liverpool at home. They could concede there. I look at those fixtures and I don't know if I think they're actually okay or they're actually not that great. I wouldn't mind if Sessegnon or Perisic was going to start all of them because you've got that attacking threat as well. I just don't think that Dyer has as much attacking threat as those two. So he is someone I could look at. I could also look at a different Chelsea defender as well, possibly Cucurella. He didn't start in the Champions League, but I expect him to start most matches in the Premier League. There isn't a huge amount of rest time between Game Week 11 and 12, then 12 and 13 for some of these teams because of those European matches, which is why we're seeing some rotation. But I think the only other player I'd look at is Dunk from Brighton, right? But he's got Brentford away, and I'm just questioning to myself, yes, Brentford haven't been very good recently, but they are a team that I could see scoring in this match. So again, I really want Dunk, a bit like Trippier, for the Game Week 12 fixture, in which case I think I'd probably just get Trippier in this week and just be done with it. It's not a great fixture, but if he does get an attack and return, happy days. So Trent is probably going to have to go. With Reece James, I'm not so confident about selling him because I think Potter has already got them playing pretty well defensively. I know AC Milan obviously went down to 10 men, so that made the game much easier last night. But I think defensively they're doing well. I still see a lot of attacking potential in him too, so I don't really want to sell him. If he's only out for 1 week against Aston Villa away, I will probably hold on to him and just play Gay against Leicester away instead. It's not ideal because I do have Maddison, but it is what it is. If he's out for kind of 2 or more weeks, then I'll probably sell him as well, and I probably just will get Dunk. So it'll probably be Trent and James out for Dunk and Trippier, and then suddenly my defence looks like nothing I would have expected a few weeks ago. But that's how it's shaping up right now. Trent's got to go. It's probably just going to be for Trippier. It's not a great move this week, but I think it's decent for the long term. Okay, let's talk about the midfield, which is a little bit easier because there's no flags whatsoever. Martinelli, first of all, definitely keeping him. Going to bench him in Game Week 12. Got good fixtures afterwards. I don't want to lose the value. He is definitely remaining in the side. The only slight worry I have with him is Arsenal and Arteta are using him quite a bit in the European matches. Now, it hasn't really phased him so far. He's still getting attack and return, so that's all good. But he's having to play a lot more minutes than some of the other players in that team. Like Saka and Jesus have been getting rest. It's just because they don't really have anyone for that left side, especially with Smith Rowe out. So it's a slight concern, but while he's fit, while he's playing every game, I'm obviously not going to use transfers to move him on. Same with Zaha, got pretty good fixtures to come. As a Danny Ward owner, I know that Leicester away is a pretty good fixture, and I think it's just those expectations with Zaha. We expect him to do more than maybe we should. Like, I got him in for Chelsea at home, didn't expect anything, he didn't get anything, fair enough. Last week, okay, probably we wanted goal and assist and a penalty here and there or whatever, but he still got an attack and return. So one return from the one game I expected him to get something, that's probably okay. So no real rush to move him on. With Maddison, he is another reason why I don't want to do anything too knee-jerk with my transfers. Well, ideally, I want to keep rolling them, right? So if I can have 2 free transfers most weeks, when we get out of this blank into Game Week 13, where Man City and Arsenal have good fixtures, I can move on them quickly. But if Reece James, for example, is only out for 1 week, and I do think there's a chance that Potter just doesn't take the risk with him this week, I definitely want to keep him and not use a transfer, because if Maddison gets a yellow card against Palace at home, he will miss the game in Game Week 12. Now, I don't think we should be massively worried about this. I don't think it should dictate everything we do, but with my team, I don't need to make any rash decisions. And so if he does get that yellow card, which is probably unlikely, but if it does happen, I can just move him on to Trossard against Nottingham Forest at home, and then use that spot for Trossard to move to Saka or Foden from Game Week 13 onwards. And I think because Saka is on penalties, he'd probably be the one that I go for, but we can assess that when the time comes. So Maddison definitely staying for me. I don't think it's a great time to be buying him right now, and I am slightly concerned about that yellow card situation. So it's why I'm being a bit careful about the other moves I make, and it's why I definitely won't be selling Mo Salah this week. And I know what people are saying, right? He's taken up a lot of budget, etc. But that budget is not really hurting me right now. I'm about to downgrade the most expensive defender in the game in Trent Alexander-Arnold to Trippier. That's going to give me like nearly another 2 million to spend. I've already got 1.1 million in the bank. Suddenly I've got over 3 million for a rainy day, and that's with Salah in my side. Harry Kane would be great this week instead of having Mo Salah, but the fixtures after this week get better for Liverpool, and if he can start performing, and right now, Like, I'm fully aware that's a big if. He is not playing well. This 4-4-2 is not suiting him. Having him out, hugging the touchline in that right midfield position, it's not good. I'm just hoping that Klopp realises that and changes something soon. Maybe even puts him up front. I just don't know who they'd have to play on that right side. But I just don't think I can sell him with all the other things that are going on in my team right now. I'm not even thinking about captaining him this week, so it's not even like that's an issue. And of course, there's other players I'd possibly rather have this week. But I think with West Ham at home, Forest, and then Leeds in the next 3 fixtures afterwards, I've probably just got to hold on to him and hope for the best. It's not very often you have Salah as a massive differential. The only problem is, I've said that a few times over the last few weeks, and it just hasn't happened. So hopefully they start getting some penalties soon, because I don't think he's had one at all this season. That can quickly change our perceptions around a player. But I think it comes back to priorities, and I just don't think he's a huge priority. I know people have the opposite view because he's so much money, but the only player I'd really want is Harry Kane. And to do that, I've got to use 2 free transfers. So I've got to switch Salah to someone cheaper. I've then got to switch one of my forwards to someone more expensive. And then I've still got James flagged, and I've got Trent Alexander-Arnold red flagged. They are much more of a priority. So he's staying for me. I know it's becoming a bit of a meme, but I just don't think he's the biggest issue in my side. If they get a penalty against Man City, he gets a dodgy goal, and that's all he does, I'll be very happy. So bringing in the forward line, and I am captaining Haaland again this week. I actually have zero doubts about it. Over the last few weeks, obviously, I know I've been between Salah and Haaland. It hasn't worked out for me. But right now, I'm just with everyone else, the very boring pick. He's just going to be my captain most weeks when Man City are playing. So I've put it on him. There's no one else that I'm really even considering, and that includes Mo Salah. So hopefully, he can get me something more than 6 points, because that's the most he's got me from captaincy so far. And against Liverpool, the way they've been defending, that is definitely possible. And by the way, I know that Pep Guardiola said that he hadn't fully recovered from the Southampton game. That's why he didn't play the Champions League. And Foden's got some issues as well. I've got a sneaking suspicion they're all going to be absolutely fine to play in that Liverpool game. So I've got no concerns whatsoever. Same with Solanke. And again, it just comes down to a priority thing. This is still a player that's going to play most minutes. He has got penalties as well. And there are a couple of decisions that Bournemouth, I wouldn't say they're clear-cut penalties, but they have had a few times over the last kind of 2 to 3 game weeks where on another day they might get a penalty. So who knows? But to get nothing the first week I owned and then 8 points last week, I think that's then 5 points per game since he's been in my side. I'm perfectly okay for that, or with that, for someone that costs 5.7 million. So again, it's just a priority thing. Reece James is flagged, Trent is red flag. I just can't use transfers on Solanke right now. I could, like I said, with 1.1 in the bank, do something like Trent to Trippier, Salah to an £8 million midfielder, and Solanke up to Kane. I just don't know if it's worth it over the next couple of weeks to be doing stuff like that. So I'm just going to keep him. Mitrovic is still flagged. Now, Marco Silva did kind of play down the injury last week, but he did say we hope. And I kind of played down, how much that might mean, and that he was just hoping that, yeah, he'd be back because they need him. But actually, it looks like they're still assessing him day by day, and it's not a guarantee he plays this game. Now, annoyingly, his fixtures are so good, I might just have to hold on to him anyway. But it is getting to the point where if he misses out, and James misses out, and Trent misses out, I'm probably going to have to do something maybe slightly more interesting. Now, one thing I can do, if Mitrovic is out this week, and if we just quickly look at his fixtures, he's still got pretty good ones after this. Right? Villa at home's pretty good. Leeds away is fine. Everton at home's okay. But 15 and 16 are not as good. Again, we know he's nailed penalties, 90 minutes, all this kind of stuff. And look, hopefully he'll be back for Bournemouth and it will just be a non-issue. But if he does miss that game, the thing that kind of worries me is how close the next game is. I mean, to be fair, it's a midweek fixture, but for Fulham, it's actually quite a few days rest. It's Saturday to Thursday, so maybe it's not so bad. It's not as bad as having to play Saturday then Tuesday, but it does worry me a little bit that the turnaround is a bit quicker than having the full week off. And if he does miss Bournemouth, will he then miss Villa as well? So one move I could do, I'll just show you on this screen while we're here, is Trent to Trippier, which again, I think is the move I'll make. I just think any kind of thoughts around not bringing Trippier in just feels like overthinking at this point. Like, he has been one of the most consistent defenders. And then I can afford to do Mitrovic to anyone that's 9.6 million or less. So there's a couple of options. One is Aubameyang, but I'm a little bit worried that Potter has already rotated him. So he played the Crystal Palace game but didn't play against Wolves, and he played in the Champions League, so he could rotate him again. The fixtures are okay, nothing special, but they're okay. The other option is to go for another Liverpool player. Now again, the turnaround time for Liverpool is not great. So they play Sunday, Wednesday, Saturday. Is not necessarily ideal, especially when this Saturday game is the early kickoff. But they don't really have a huge amount of options right now, with Luis Diaz out until kind of after the World Cup probably. So I'm looking at maybe Darwin Núñez or Jota. Firmino's an option as well, but I still think right now that Darwin Núñez is probably Klopp's first choice number 9. And with Diaz out, Jota's going to play a lot of minutes on the left. It doesn't mean that Firmino's not going to play at all, and he has done really well. And if they continue with this kind of 4-attacker setup, it will have to be Jota, Firmino, Núñez and Salah in most games. But I just think one of the other two is a little bit more interested. And Darwin Núñez has been getting quite a few chances. I know he keeps hitting it at the goalkeeper a lot, so maybe his finishing is not quite there. But as Klopp said, you just need to be getting the chances, and I think the fixtures are pretty good. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't want to bring them in against Man City at home. My preference is that Mitrovic is fit, but if he's not, I may have to make that second transfer. And I do think that Liverpool are continuing to score goals. They're still right up there in terms of not near Man City, but no one really is. Only Arsenal have scored more than them, and these fixtures are pretty good. Like West Ham at home is not an amazing fixture, but at least they play that week. Then it's Forest and Leeds, so I'm strongly considering doing that. Getting rid of Mitrovic if he's not fit this week, and then bringing in Darwin, Núñez or Jota, and I'd have 0.8 million left over just in case I need to do something over kind of the next couple of weeks as well. So yeah, I'm pretty flexible. Because I'm not worried about Salah right now, I'm pretty flexible in the other moves I can make. So that is something I'm considering. But if he's fit, I'm just going to keep him. Because Bournemouth at home is a decent fixture. He's nailed on. I can just worry about how I spend those funds later on. I'm not in a massive rush to do it. Maybe I upgrade my goalkeeper later on, whatever it might be. But that's my current thoughts. That's how the team is looking. Haaland captain, probably Trent to Trippier. If I can, that will be the only transfer I make. But if Mitrovic is out and Marco Silva doesn't sound too hopeful about the Villa game, I may just get a second Liverpool attacker in and just hope they continue to score goals, whether or not they're conceding or not. So let me know what you think. Give it a like if you enjoyed it. Hit that subscribe button, and I'll catch you again soon.